Earlier this year, pro-Ukrainian activist Hannah says she was abducted from her Donetsk apartment by armed pro-Russian gunmen and taken away blindfolded.
My face was smashed. He was trying to beat me everywhere. I was covering myself with my hands. Then he cut my hands and legs with a knife.
Hannah describes how she was forced to write a separatist slogan on the wall in her own blood.
The man who was brutalizing me, he said, "Write with your blood on the wall, I love Donbass." And he said, "If you can't do this, if you run out of blood, I will shoot you."
Hannah's account is far from unique, according to the human rights group Amnesty International. It has documented dozens of allegations of torture by separatist groups in eastern Ukraine.
Mostly it's pro-Ukrainian activists, those who insisted that East is part of Ukraine, who wanted to use Ukrainian flags, shout Ukrainian symbols, slogans. They were the ones targeted primarily, but also people who were involved with the presidential election on the 25th of May, members of electoral committees or observers. Also journalists.
Amnesty says an increasing number of pro-Ukrainian activists are now escaping the east and arriving in the capital, Kiev. Sasha says he was abducted after attending pro-Kiev protests in Luhansk last month.
They told me goodbye, they are going to kill you, so. And one guy with a gun put the gun to my head and said to go straight the corridor and don't say anything. While I was walking through the corridor, armed people who were there, they told me goodbye, they are going to kill you, so.
Amnesty says many of the alleged victims are only now coming forward after being freed by Ukrainian forces. In recent days, the Ukrainian military has made territorial gains, forcing pro-Russian separatists from their strongholds in Slovyansk and Kramatorsk. But both Ukrainian government troops and pro-Kiev activists also stand accused of carrying out abductions and torture, though on a much smaller scale. Ukraine's government must end the culture of impunity, says Amnesty's Denis Krivoshev.
All over Ukraine, police have been a force whose members have been regularly abusing people's rights with impunity. And if Kiev authorities are really intent on reinstating the rule of law and putting the house in order, this is where they need to start.
Justice may have to wait while the conflict goes on. Pro-Russian separatists are reinforcing their positions in Donetsk and Luhansk. Analysts say any battle for control of these cities would likely cost many lives. Henry Ridgwell for VOA News, London.